Dubai's World Government Summit is going to explore the future of AI with thousands of leaders, experts and senior officials from more than 150 countries that will gather in Dubai next month in February to help shape future governments and identify innovative solutions for future challenges. It kicks off on February the 12th, and to speak more about how Dubai is becoming really an emerging-based technology economy, we are joined by the Group CEO of Trescon and Trescon Foundation, Naveen Bharadwaj. Thank you very much for joining us on Kitch and Neeil.
Good evening. Happy to be with you guys.
It's great. Now, what a great voice you have. Have you done radio before?
With you guys, yes.
Good answer.
So, Naveen, the future of AI, now that's a question that, everyone is asking, but at the same time, that fear factor always stays in the back of the mind. Will AI replace humans?
Well, I think some areas where human intervention is needed might be replaced by AI, but AI is not going to replace humans as a whole. I repeat this time and time again. It's just like how the Industrial Revolution kicked in, right?
Mm-hmm.
People evolved, people adopted, people picked up new skills, and then, whatever momentary technology replacing skill was there, that just got completely taken away. So I think it's going to happen with AI. You'll hear from a lot of different entrepreneurs and businessmen and sometimes even government leaders talking about the positive impacts of AI, but at the same time, some jobs being replaced by AI. So we need to prepare ourselves for that.
Do you think the challenge with AI being introduced is, we know about the Industrial Revolution, but it's the pace of the change that is causing people the most uncertainty?
Absolutely, because I think if you look at the level of technology adoption we've had as well, the internet penetration we've had as well, and the awareness around digital transformation that we're having both at the business and personal fronts, it's enormous, right? Mm-hmm. With all of that, you will only expect that any new trend that feels groundbreaking, any new trend that can make things faster and easier for people will tend to pick up pace at a significant speed as well. So while there are fears, if global consortiums, if governments, policymakers, enterprises, individuals such as yourselves and I all come together and start using AI for ethical purposes and for the greater good of humanity, I think there's nothing to worry, or let's say not so much to worry.
Yeah, because when I first got into radio, I wanted to be a distinguished 20 years on. I make TikToks. So we all have to evolve to some degree. Naveen, I think UAE, and why do you think the UAE government has businesses better placed than other countries when it comes to the adoption of AI and future technologies?
One thing that actually has worked very well in favor of UAE and then generally the economy at large is the government is futuristic. The government is forward-thinking. Mm-hmm. While most of the countries are mulling upon and doing academic research in a few areas, including AI, a good few years ago, UAE at the government level was already adopting AI to help improve the lives and experiences of citizens, of residents, of tourists, use of AI in the healthcare sector to be able to predict outbreak of any issues early, or even the power of AI in early weather monitoring, so on and so forth, right? So the government's always had a clear-cut vision. And tell me something, how many countries in the world actually have a minister dedicated for AI?
True.
None. UAE was the first and remains the only.
This is interesting. But tell me something, with AI coming into play, will the governments and all the authorities be able to predict or lessen the traffic at Hessa Street?
I would love to see that as well. Whether or not AI is being used, I'm pretty sure that you announced in your radio a couple of months ago as a mass project that has been announced by the leadership and RD, and they're working on easier congestion on Hessa Street and actually a couple of other areas. And I'm pretty sure that in the back end, it's not just the physical infrastructure, but also power of tech, power of AI that'll make that happen. Because the impact of AI and the different use cases that AI can be used for, both by the government and the private sector, is just super widespread. Anything and everything you can think of. In fact, Neil talked about him wanting to be a journalist. Neil, good time to bring back your passion project, because with the power of AI, or let's say ChatGPT, you can become a journalist now. They're spinning off stories in seconds and minutes. So it took hours for them to do that in the past.
See, that was Kitch who wanted to be the journalist, but I can tell you one thing.
Sorry.
He still would use ChatGPT and other AI to make TikToks better.
Oh, to make TikToks, not from a journalism. in fact, Naveen, I've always wanted to know when it comes down to AI. Have you ever used AI for ways to improve that beautiful moustache of yours?
Oh, well, there are a lot of apps at the personal front where even people without the mustache can actually try the mustache look. I'm bald, right? I can try different hairstyles. So AI is being used. And for TikTok videos, and we'll see the different influencers are actually using AI for their videos. Production of their video, wanting to look better, wanting to look different, bringing different graphical elements, so on and so forth. Long answer short. Have I personally used? No, but it is being used by several people out there.
Yeah, see, the use case of AI, while everyone thinks that it is going to be very technical and probably you need to educate yourself, upskill yourself, but at a very, the lowest denominator level also for people who understand very basic of technology, I'm sure that there will be use case examples of AI. And if there are, could they be?
Many things, right? To begin with, writing and researching.
Okay.
Now, let's say I'm a university student and I'm asked to write a report, or I'm working on a thesis about, I don't know, splitting atoms. Previously, I had to run from pillar to post, different libraries, contact a lot of different people. Although the internet was accessible and available, it wasn't so easy for me to actually come up with a lot of content to help me learn, to support with my research and reporting. But now, with the power of AI, that's at my fingertips. It can spoil me a little bit if I switch to just copy and paste. But again, with a bit of awareness and with learning being the central objective, if I start picking things up there, it's actually helpful for me, right? That's one. Number two, chatting with customer service. Let's say I want to interact with banks. I'm from a country which doesn't necessarily speak as much English, but I'm living here and I want to talk to my bank. They today may or may not have contact center agents or chatting facilities that can speak to me in my language. But thanks to AI, it is possible somebody is replying in English, but all of that real-time, live translated to my language, whatever that is.
I agree with you, but I think there are some problems because when people try and work, specifically with multinationals, they try and work with those English chatbots. If the first initial engagements or opportunities they have with them don't work, then people just are off them immediately. So I think there's a strange way with the technology that it almost needs to be nearly perfect when it's first implemented, because if people have a bad experience,
it's gone.
They then, in terms of a consumer opportunity, turn it away. We've got a few messages here, 0586861003. A lot of people are wondering, a few people are wondering, could AI replace accountants soon and become virtual? What are your thoughts on that?
And to a large degree, yes, and I'm sorry to scare you, accountants, because if bookkeeping is what we've all been doing, all of it is definitely valuable. It is an essential piece of keeping the economy in check and keeping the economy going. Can AI do that? Most certainly. There are a lot of use cases already. There are a lot of real examples where a few companies have been able to successfully replace such roles. However, there's still a lot of other things that AI is unable to do. So if you're an accountant today, upskill yourself, cross-skill yourself, learn some of these AI tools and become a master of the tool so you actually don't get replaced. You become part of the transformation.
Well, that's why one of our friends of the show, Pankaj Jain, he set up the website Pankaj, so it's there and it's available for AI. It's nice. The web portal. So I know it's an accountant and smart. Who would have thought? But Naveen, when it comes down to the early adopters, do you think it's a case of the generation that are at school and that are coming through into the university are just at a best place because they're more willing to adapt and they're more agile when it comes down to the employment sector?
Not necessarily just them. It's also people like you and me, and it's also others that have fire up their bellies, and it's also those that have an obligation to work, earn, and live, because all of us, whether or not we like it, are part of this AI transformation. We don't have a choice. The faster we realize, the faster we become part of that equation, the better it is for us. So I would imagine that a good 50% of people on the planet as of today are really good candidates for early adoption of AI.
So when you say early adoption, does it only mean limited to work that you're doing just for survival basis, or to try and expand the horizon and probably try and figure out some newer avenues as well?
Absolutely. It's everything, right? Again, we talked about the student example because that was the easiest. So that's for my learning. But then if you're in the content business, you can use the power of AI. If you're in the numbers business, you can use AI to crunch it. If you're in the forecasting business, you can use the power of AI to predict patterns. So there's so much you can do. So much you can automate with the power of AI. Now, leaving business aside, even just from a general, our own lives for that matter, there's so much that AI can do for us. But of course, how quickly we as individuals are able to apply AI holistically and be massively impacted at a personal level, that's still to be seen. But I don't think the power of AI is limited to just basic survival or work culture.
Well, we appreciate your insights here at the cutting edge, before the curve, so to speak. So, the group of Trescon and the Trescon Foundation. Naveen Bharadwaj, thanks so much for joining us again here on CSB.
Thank you. Enjoy.